Are you not taking the necessary actions that you must be taking and making each and every single day in your real estate business to go out there and create the business and life that you know that you want, but you're having difficulty executing on these actions? And look, there's a lot of underlying reasons as to why maybe you're not taking actions. Maybe it's lack of motivation. Maybe it's a fear of rejection. There's a lot of different reasons. But if it's like, okay, hey, I know I need to be doing these things day in and day out. I know I got to be doing X amount of calls. I know I got to be having, X amount of conversations, but I'm not taking action. And I don't know how to remove these blocks that are prohibiting me from taking the necessary actions that I must take to turn my situation around, to turn my life around, to turn my business around, and go out there and create that dream business and dream life that you truly want. If that is you, then that's what this podcast is all about. I'm going to be breaking down my 5-step process to getting you into taking massive freaking action in your life, in your business, so you can quickly turn shit around, become an action-taking machine, and go out there and get those results that you need to be getting to create the life that you know you truly want and deserve. And look, maybe you already are an action-taking machine. But look, maybe you're a real estate agent or a real estate team leader, or a brokerage owner, and maybe you don't have a problem with taking action, but you're having an issue with getting your agents to take action. This is also going to be really important for you because we need to know what this process is that we can walk those that through that work for us, whether it be ourselves or those that work with us, work for us, to get them into taking action. So, and look, I'm somebody that struggled with these things too. I used to spend more time looking at the damn phone, than I would even dialing it because I had such a deep fear of rejection, so I'm one that I had to figure this out personally as well. So these are the 5 steps that I've done that I continue to do for myself personally, but then also that I implement and do with my agents. And that's what has allowed me to go out there and become and create one of the top real estate teams on the planet. So we're going to do a deep dive into these 5 steps. And what inspired me to create this today is, look, I'm doing anywhere between 4 and 8 free coaching calls a day with all of you amazing GSD mode listeners or those watching, listening to the podcast here, doing these free coaching calls. Started doing these about a month ago with you guys to help you get dialed inside your business. And this is one of the most, or I shouldn't say one of the most, it is the biggest issue that I'm seeing most have right now is these blocks. It's like, okay, even if I map out exactly what they need to do to get from where they're at to where they want to go, so I can map out, it's like, hey, here's the roadmap. All you got to do is execute. Well, then from there, they're like, well, man, I just can't find myself to go out there and execute. I can't find myself to go out there and get uncomfortable and do the uncomfortable stuff. So again, that's what inspired me to go out there and create this podcast today, because I want to make sure that all of you are dialed in with this. Now, real quick, if you want to schedule a 100% free coaching call with me, this is going to be a 1-hour long Zoom call with me personally, where we're going to break down your business and make sure that you know exactly what you must do to get from where you're at to where it is that you want to go. You can do that at www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. Or whether you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to this on any of the audio platforms, if you just scroll below into the show notes or the descriptions, there should be the top link there that you can click though to schedule that. So if you want to take advantage of that 100% free coaching Zoom call that I'm doing right now, go ahead and jump on there, get that booked. We'll get that scheduled. I promise you, I got your back. I will make sure you get dialed in and you'll know exactly what to do to get from where you're at to where you want to go in the quickest, most effective, efficient, profitable manner possible. But then from there, right now we can know what to do. But then, okay, how do we get ourselves into execution? How do we get ourselves to taking those daily actions? Because look, this shit is boring. It's mundane. It's tedious. Growth comes from us having to step out of our comfort zone. If you stay in your little box, in your little comfort zone, you're not going to facilitate and experience the growth that you must experience. And that's difficult. It's hard. We all go through it. It's something that I've went through. You're going through. Everybody goes through it. So you are not alone. Sometimes we can think of, I was having a conversation on one of these coach calls the other day with somebody, and they're like, I just wonder if this isn't for me. Maybe I'm just not built like, you or everybody else. I'm like, look, dude, what you're going through is natural. Something that I went through, something that every top producer that I know has ever went through, right? The difference is are we willing to work through it, or not? Okay, so now let's jump into these tactical steps, because I want to make sure that you guys are dialed in. Because again, I can give you the roadmap, I can give you the plan, or you can go to somebody else and get the roadmap and get the plan. Then from there, it's okay. Are you able to execute day in and day out on that plan? Get out of your comfort zone, face your fears, face your fear of rejection, and so forth. All right, so we're going to jump into these 5 steps here now. Step number 1. Now, what I recommend if you're able to, I know a lot of you are listening to this while you're in the gym, while you're driving. So this might be something that you're going to have to circle back to and come back and re-listen to this later, or just remember to go out there and do this. But I want you to get out a pen and I want you to get out a piece of paper, because we're going to do some deep work here on this podcast today. Okay, so step number 1, I call this dealing in realities, right? So here's what you got to understand is our minds, your mind, my mind, all of our minds are built for protection. There's a lot of things that our mind does, but one of the important things that it does is it does everything it can to protect us. It tries to do everything that it can to avoid us from having to go through different painful situations, painful scenarios. This is why so many people have a difficult time thinking about death, dealing in realities that, okay, hey, one day you are going to die, blink of an eye, boom, you are 84 years old, you are on your deathbed, you're going to be rolling back the tapes, asking yourself, what did you do with this gift called life that God blessed you with? Did you piss it away, or did you go out there and do something meaningful with it? Do you end up getting to the end of this life where it's too late to go out there and do anything and make any changes, and you die like 99.9% of the human population, where you're like, oh shit, I wasted this one gift called life I've been blessed with. I have this massive shoulda, woulda, coulda, regret list. Well, the reason why that happens with so many people is because our minds block us from thinking about the painful scenario of that's the inevitable path, right? Like, we know that that's coming. Everybody leaves this life experience, right, in the same way. Now, maybe there's another journey after this. I hope that there is, but I don't know that for sure. I have faith, I believe that there is, but I don't. But it's like, okay, I know right here, like I'm living this experience. At some point, this experience is going to end. What must happen between now and before this thing ends for me to go out there and create and live a fulfilled life? So, but we got to then be proactive at making sure that we're not allowing our mind to trick us into being delusional. I'm not saying that you're a delusional human being. What I am saying, though, is your mind will allow you to become delusional in certain aspects of your life, unless you have awareness of this, unless you go out there and intentionally do this more deeper, more painful work, right? So here's what I want you to understand when I talk about dealing in realities. Look, if you do the same things that you are doing right now, you are going to continue getting the same results. Whether you're happy with your situation or unhappy with your situation, where you are at right now is just a combination of your habits, your behaviors, and your actions that have compounded over time, and boom, have wound you up right here. Now, that might be good for some of you, and that might be a tough, hard situation for some of you, right? But that's just the reality of it. You are where you are at because of you alone, your actions, your behaviors, the way that you think, the way that you operate, the way that you do things. You are where you are at. So here's the thing that we got to understand then is, okay, if I don't make the necessary changes that I must make to turn my situation around, then I'm making this video right now in January of 2024, or making this podcast in January of 2024. So then let's just say if your 2023 was a tough year for you in real estate, okay, if you continue doing the same things that you did last year and you're continuing doing those this year, okay, 2024 is going to look exactly like 2023 did. I was having a conversation with a dude the other day on one of these free coaching calls who was in a tough spot. And I said, okay, let me ask you this, man. What if 2024 just replicates and repeats 2023? If you close X amount of transactions, like what is the consequences of that? And what are you going to experience? What is life like? And the answer was, man, I can't even allow my mind to go there. That's that delusional part. Well, we got to go out there and peel that back and not allow our minds to allow us to be delusional, right? Because so many people just operate in hope and prayer. And look, I hope for a better future. I pray. I believe in God. I pray, but I'm not going to plan off of that. I'm not going to business plan off that. It's like my favorite quotes out there is, God feeds the birds, but God does not put food in their mouth, right? So God gives them the environment, the skill sets, the innate abilities to go out there and hunt and go out there and get their own food, but they got to do the work, right? So nothing, the success is just going to show up at your doorstep one day, right? Like, it's up to you and only you, because nobody else gives a shit. Nobody's going to bed at night worrying about you not being able to pay your bills, right? Like, this is just on you. It's up to you and you alone only. So then from there, so then I was like, all right, well, we need to think about it, right? So I'm going to ask you again, what happens if the same year repeats and 2023, what you did in 2023, X amount of closings is what you do in 2024? Then it's well, man, I'd have to quit the industry. I'd have to go get a job. So then it's okay. Well, is that what you want? No, it's not what I want. Okay. Well, it sounds like then we need to start taking some different actions, different behaviors. Because if that's not what you want, that's exactly where you're going to wind up if you continue doing the same shit that you are doing right now. So your behaviors must change. Right. So this is when I talk about dealing in realities. We just got to understand this. Now, for some of you, that might sound like common sense, right? But then you're like, well, I'm still not taking action. So here's what I want you to do. So, and it's not just enough to deal in realities with it. I want you to write this out. We're going to make two different lists. So list number one is going to be the negative consequences around if your situation does not change, if you continue to repeat the same months, same years that you've been having to this point, right? Okay, if your life does not change, if you just continue to repeat, 2023 is 2024, like you just keep repeating. If 12 months from now, today, your life doesn't look any different than it is today, I want you to write out what are the negative consequences of that. How does that negatively impact your business? How does that negatively impact you on a personal level? How does that impact your family? How does that impact your loved ones? How does that impact I'll just call it your soul? Like, meaning when you look in the mirror, the person looking back at you, are you proud of what you see? So we can easily go out there and bullshit others. We can make others think our situation is all great, and we can make others buy into our bullshit reasons and excuses. But deep down what's up, right? So when you look in that mirror, it's like my number one why of this life. I don't have some huge, massive, crazy, insane, poetic why. It's just when I look in the mirror, the dude that I see, the person that I see, that's looking back at me. I want to be proud of that motherfucker. Right. So looking at that, like when you do, it's like, I talk to agents all the time or team leaders or broker owners. I'm like, look, you might be able to trick others and with your excuses and your reasons as to why this thing didn't work out, why you fell short of your goals, why you're struggling. They might buy your bullshit stories of, why you didn't succeed because of the market or because of interest rates or because of, maybe you went through X personal difficult time. But deep down that those are bullshit stories. You can get the rest of the world to buy into those, but deep down, those are bullshit stories. Deep down. I get some people that are like, well, at least this way I know I did everything I could. I'm like, really? Did you? Like, do you really believe that? Did you really do everything you could? And they know they didn't. So it's like, okay, if you need to drop out of this industry, you need to go fail. Okay, you're going to have to suffer those consequences of knowing that you were just a quitter. You gave this half-ass energy, half-ass effort. You became a statistic. You were a failure, like 90% of those in this industry. You didn't give it your all, right? Like you chose to abandon your goals, dreams, and visions, and that is a regret that you might have to live deeply with for the rest of your life. Yeah, right. So the deeper that we can get into this pain, because all sales, and you guys hear me talk a lot about this on this podcast, speaking to going after buyer clients, seller clients, agent recruits, and so forth. Sales is just pain and pleasure. It's like, okay, I identify what the pain is that they're experiencing, what the pleasure is that they want to get to, then articulate with the best guide to get them from pain to pleasure. The number one biggest sale that you can make in your lifetime is selling yourself on your own dreams, goals, and visions, selling yourself that you are capable, and selling yourself on your own goals, dreams, and visions, and selling yourself on why you must execute on these things. So the deeper you can live in your own personal pain and your own personal pleasure, the more that this is going to allow you to go out there and execute on the things that you need to be executing on. Okay, so I want you to make that pain list, right? And look, some of you, it's like, maybe you're making 20 G's a month and you're okay. You're not making big money, but you're doing okay. You're paying the bills. You're able to kind of sleep at night, but like, dude, your potential's way up here and you're playing small and you're operating down here, so I know for some, it's not going to just be about the money. Cause again, our minds will be delusional where we're like, oh, well, I should just be blessed of what I have. Things are good enough, right? Okay. Is that really what you want though? Like, are you okay with just living a mediocre, just surviving, getting by life? Or were you built for something big? And not everybody is built for something big, right? So, but this is for you to tap into and figure out your own self. Okay, now list number two. Now we're going to go to the pleasure. Okay, once you hit X goal, whatever that big goal is that you have, your 12-month goal, your long-term vision and goal, like once you've achieved those, now I want you to go deep into, okay, what is your life going to be like now? What are you going to do when you're creating that success? How are you going to feel? How is that going to impact your business? How is that going to impact the people that you're able to serve at the highest level? How's that going to impact your community? How's that going to impact your significant other, your kids, your overall life? How is that going to make you feel about the man or woman that you are when you look in the mirror, when you're looking at your soul? Like, how does that impact you? And again, going deep on this stuff, right? Like how is that going to make you feel like once you are fucking winning and you are that winner that you know that you're capable of becoming? So now so take the time with this, right? Like, okay, well, if you typically, if your past behaviors have been shortcutting shit, and then now you're shortcutting this shit, well, okay, are you expecting a different result? Okay, we got to start acting different. Well, Josh, my attention span sucks. I can't listen to or watch podcasts longer than 8 minutes, dude. 15 minutes in right now, man, speed this up. I can't. Okay. You got to break that shit, man. The average human being right now has an attention span less than a goldfish, right? Those that create success are focus freaking machines. Maybe you got to grow your focus. Maybe you got to grow your patience. Maybe you got to grow like we got to definition of insanity. Like the great Einstein says, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I've got a quote right up here. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, you can see this. But right above my computer, so I see it all day. We can't solve problems using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Albert Einstein. So I'm always looking at this when I'm experiencing a problem. I'm like, all right, what type of thinking, behaviors, and actions create this problem? Okay, like what do I need to do differently than to resolve this problem? I know that I created the problem. I know that I can also solve the problem, but what do I got to do differently and deal in realities to go out there and solve those? So now you got your paragraphs, right? So then from there, when I'm talking about dealing in realities, again, you are going to experience pain. You got to quit being a pansy and be like, oh, I just want my life to be easy. I don't want to experience any pain. I just want, no, dude, like, that's why so many people are hooked on freaking prescription drugs and alcohol and use food is almost a drug anymore, or binge so much, bullshit on TV because they just want comfort. Everybody's seeking comfort. No, you are going to experience pain. It's the reality of this. So stop being like, oh, I just want things easy. Bullshit. Right? It's just not going to happen. You are going to, again, not being delusional. You are going to experience one or two pains. So you're either going to experience the pain of doing the work that you must do to get to list number 2, the pleasure that you want, or you are going to continue to experience pain from list number 1. Now you just got to pick and choose which pain you would rather experience, because you're going to experience one of the pains. Like thinking that life is, oh, I just want to be happy. Like that's the dumbest goal on the planet. Happiness, like you're going to have times in your life to experience happiness. You're going to, like, happiness wouldn't exist if we didn't also, experience sadness. If we didn't all experience, it's like, it's like, you have different seasons, man. You got the sunshine, you got the rainy days, you got the snowy days, right? Like we got to deal in realities with this stuff. So now from there, I just want you to be truly honest with yourself. This is just an exercise that you're going through yourself. I want to be truly honest with yourself and ask yourself, which pain would I rather experience? I had another one of these free coaching calls with a dude the other day. It's a big goals, right? For his first year. I mean, big goals compared to most, right? Like I wouldn't necessarily call them huge goals, but, doing like 40 deals his first year in the business. And he asked me, is this possible? I said, 100%. I said, I did it. My coaching clients do it all the time. I've helped, my agents in my own organization do it all the time. Now is it the norm? No, but we don't want to be anything normal in this business, right? We're in a business where average and normal just gets you nothing but massive pain, but I'm like, look, it's simple. It's so simple. If you want to close 40 deals in your first year, or if any of you want to close 40, it's so simple. The plan is simple. The strategy is simple. How to break it down is simple. But then from there, I just told him, I said, all it's going to boil down to is if you are full of shit or not. Like, words are hollow, actions show what we truly value, meaning are you serious that you actually truly want to close 40 deals in your first 12 months? Or are you just full of shit? Would that just be a nice to have if it was easy and if it was handed to me? Or is it, okay, no, this is a must thing that I must go out there and do. This is a thing that I want. Because again, you're going to have to go through pain to do this stuff, right? Simple doesn't always mean pain-free, right? It's just simple. Like none of this stuff is difficult to go out there and create massive success, sell tons of homes, make a ton of money. It's all simple. Meaning the plan is simple. It's not, right? It's the doing the deep work that we're talking about today that gets us into action. I always get asked, how did you do 48 deals your first year and then scale to 103 and then boom, 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 and just go out there and scale the way that you scaled out of the gate? I'm like, 2 reasons. Number one, I identified an amazing badass mentor that was one of the top in the United States. Still is a badass, still out there slaying it today, still a close friend of mine. But I identified the biggest badass I possibly could, that I could have as a mentor, have as a role model that could show me the path that I could execute on. Because I'm like, all right, dude, like I don't have time to go out there and figure this shit out. I don't have a decade to figure this shit out. Like I need the person that's already been doing this for multiple decades that can just give me the plan. I don't care what I had to pay him, what the splits were, whatever. I'm just like, I just want to be mentored by him so he could give me the roadmap and plan. So I'm like, that was step one. But the equally, if not bigger thing is I was so sick and tired of being a fucking loser, making $10 an hour, being broke as a joke, looking in the mirror and being like, what a freaking loser. Not feeling like a loser. I was a loser. I dealt in realities. I'm like, I'm so sick of this shit. I'm so sick of who I've allowed myself to become. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Like I got that freaking fire built up. And I got to that point where I was just like, dude, I'm willing to do like, it's not just about having the plan. I had to get myself to the point where I was an execution machine on the fucking plan. The plan itself is just a piece of paper. I can give you the plan. I will give you the plan on the free coaching call if you want to book it with me. But then from there, are you going to execute on this thing? Yeah, right. Like getting the plan is the easy part. You can schedule that free with me or go to somebody. Like getting the plan is the easy part. Then from there, can you execute on the freaking plan? So now we got to deal in realities. Quit operating off of freaking hope and prayer. Think, oh, things will just work out. Oh, if I just like things have all just they always seem to work out. I'm a good person, dude. Like none of that shit matters, right? I'm not saying that being a good person doesn't matter, but there's no shortage of really good, struggling, broke people out there that go broke, that starve. There's an abundance of them, right? So you got to deal in realities. Which pain would you rather experience? One of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn. He said that there's two types of people. This is really important. Now, and then after this point, we're going to get into tactical steps here of what you could be doing daily tactically. Okay, so two things here. Or Jim Rohn said there's two types of people out there, and only two types. They're the types of people that need to survive, and then the types of people, so the first type is the type of person that needs to survive. The second type is the type of person that needs to succeed. You've got to deal in realities and figure out which type you are. Because if you're just the type that needs to survive, then you're just going to do the maintenance. You're going to stay in your comfort zone. You're going to do enough to just get by and just survive. But if you are the type that needs to succeed, you are going to figure out what it takes to go out there and succeed. And you're going to push through those painful moments. So again, deal in realities, make those two lists, pick and choose which pain you'd rather experience. Don't allow yourself to be delusional thinking that you're not going to experience one of those pains, because you're just going to really sit there and pick which pain sucks less. Would I rather go through the pain of not being able to sleep at night, having crazy anxiety, not being able to, I was talking with somebody the other day and I'm like, okay, on one of these free coaching calls, I'm like, okay, identify, because I'm trying to help them with their motivation, help them get into action, because that's one of the most important elements. And I was like, okay, well, what's now situation look like? Well, man, I have a tough time sleeping, massive anxiety, not able to necessarily go out there and provide for my kids in the way I want to provide for my kids. Wasn't able to get my kids the gifts that I really wanted to get them for the holidays. I'm like, okay, like, would you rather live in that pain? Because that is the pain you are going to continue living in if you don't wake the fuck up and go out there and choose the other pain. So would I rather have to go through the pain of hit my phone, getting in my CRM, learning my CRM, mastering my systems, mastering my skill sets, going through the pain of picking up this phone, having some stranger that does not give a shit about you, your family, doesn't care. They don't care about you. Nobody does. And that's the hard truth of life, right? Now, I'm not saying that your family doesn't care about you, but at the end of the day, they got their own problems, right? They got their own problems, their own fears. They're self-absorbed. They're worried about themselves, right? At the end of the day, nobody gives a shit about you. You got to know that. You got to understand, especially these strangers that are, you're so afraid of, because I had to get to myself at this point when I had massive fear rejection of like, look, man, I'm allowing my success and the opportunities I should be creating for myself and for my family to be stifled by some stranger that if I went and jumped in my truck, went on the freeway, got hit by a semi, got killed, they wouldn't give two fucks. Not that they're not bad people, but they just got shit going on in their own life. They might be watching on the news. Oh, just Joshua Smith guy got hit by a semi, father of 3 kids, whatever. And they might be like, oh, that sucks. 2 seconds later, they're like, honey, what's for dinner? And they go about their life. So, okay, I'm letting the opinion of these strangers that do not give a shit about me, my kids, my wife, whatever, stifle my success because I'm more worried about their opinion. I'm more worried about them saying no or hanging up on me than I am concerned with providing opportunities for my family. Right? Like we just got to quit being cowards, man. We got to quit being freaking pansies. We got to go out there and get into action. And I get it, dude. It's still pain. It's still, you got to go through. It's mundane. It's tedious. It's boring. Sometimes getting screamed at, yelled at. Not that that happens a lot if you have good skill set, but the rare action time it happens, it ain't the most fun thing, right? But whoever said success is fun. Like once you've created the success, it might feel good, but the path from getting where you're at to where you want to be, that path isn't fun. It takes work. It takes discipline. It takes all of these things. So we got to deal in reality with that. Pick the pain that you want to experience. Okay, now let's get a little bit more tactical, right? Okay, so number 2, you got to feed your mind every single day the right things. Otherwise, just the world is going to feed you. And the shit that the world feeds you is not going to be good. Right. Like if you look at the news, if you look at YouTube, I mean, they are just, it's all clickbait. We're in this information age, clickbait, war on our attention. So negativity sells that, like you got to focus on the shit that you can control and quit investing time and bullshit you can't control. Right. And then if you're struggling right now, why are you watching the game? Why are you binging Netflix? Why are you watching movies? Why are you wasting time on shit that isn't adding to your skill sets, that isn't adding value, that to your overall self, to your business, to take you to that next level? Look, the amount of money that you make is a 100% direct correlation to the value that you deliver to the marketplace. Okay, binging some Netflix show isn't going to add any value to you. It's just making you more comfort, making you, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with a little bit of entertainment in our lives. But if you are struggling at a hard level, yeah, I am saying that you do not deserve entertainment yet. You haven't earned the right for entertainment yet. You need to go out there and get your shit together and do what you got to do to turn your situation around. But you got to feed your mind intentionally the right things every day, or otherwise the world is going to feed it for you. And I can promise you what the world feeds it is going to create more fear, more anxiety, more depression, more bullshit, more negativity. It's going to dumb you down. Like, what do you think TikTok is doing? YouTube Shorts are doing. Instagram. You think that shit's making it smarter or dumber? Right? People's IQs are dropping every single. The human beings today are the dumbest we've ever been, probably as a human species. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but in the late 1800s, before we adopted the Prussian school system, 5th graders were reading Shakespeare and doing calculus. We think that because of technology, all shit, that, we're smarter, we're more, that no, dude, like people are getting dumber by the freaking day. And it's because people quit feeding themselves the right information. The right information that you should be feeding yourself every single day it should be all around 100% around. Does this get me one step closer from where I'm at to where I want to go? Is this adding new skill sets? Is this necessary to get me to the next level? And you got to be intentional with this. And my recommendation is at a minimum 1 hour a day. And here's the cool thing. Oh, Josh, I don't have an hour a day. Okay, I don't have an hour a day either to stuff my face in a physical book right now. I'm working an insane amount of hours. I decided to start adding these free coaching calls to be able to help you guys out. So that's added like an extra 4 or 5 hours a day to my plate. So like right now I'm, crushing, 12 hours is a light day for me, right? It's just so I can make that room to help you guys out, because I know a lot of you are struggling right now. So I don't have that time either, between family, all this stuff and working out and all this other stuff. But I do audiobooks, right? So I'm streaming audiobooks while I'm working out. I'm streaming audiobooks while I'm driving, right? So like it's while I'm getting ready in the morning, I can crush 2-3 hours of self-development without adding extra time to my plate every day. But it's not just about adding the self-development. Does that self-development that you are adding have a definite and direct purpose based on what your goals are? Is it adding value, getting closer from where you're at to where you want to go? Right. So like, okay, right now, maybe one of the things that you need to dial in is your sales skill sets. Maybe that's the biggest choke point, biggest weak point in your business right now, is your ability to have effective sales conversations. Okay, well then every moment of your self-development should be around getting those sales skills up. Get that thing dialed in, then identify the next, choke point obstacle inside your business. Now, I know I'm dropping a lot of Jim Rohn quotes here in this podcast today, but Jim Rohn was my first original mentor and really shaped my personal philosophy that allowed my success trajectory just to skyrocket, right? So, Jim Rohn says, he's got another saying out there. He's like, all right, so this is a question that he poses, right? But it goes into a statement about feeding our mind. He's like, all right, so if your enemy Your biggest enemy on the planet, put sugar in your coffee. What happens? Okay, well, now you have sweet coffee. Then if a loved one puts strychnine in your coffee, which strychnine, cyanide poison, right? So if a loved one puts accidentally puts a drop of strychnine in your coffee, what happens? You die. You're poisoned, right? So, then Jim Rohn follows that up with life is both sugar and strychnine. So the moral of that is you got to guard your coffee. So meaning you got to guard, there's poison and there's things that are going to sweeten your life and there's things that are going to poison your life. You got to feed your mind intentionally. What your ears hear, what your eyeballs see, conversations that you're having with your mouth, or even bullshit, stupid conversations, with people just that we all know the saying, you're the average of the 5 people that you spend most time around with. Hey man, maybe it's time that you got to level up some people in your life. Right? Like, are you still hanging out with the same damn people that are, because if you're not where you want to be and you're hanging out with those same people, not saying you got to cut them out of your life, but maybe you need to add and start spending time with some of the right people in your life. Okay. Then step number 3. So step number 2, now that we got step 1, we already talked about getting your pain and pleasure list, reading through those every day, reminding yourself of which pain that you'd rather experience. Now we're going to be feeding your mind with intentional stuff, 1 hour every single day at a minimum. But 1 hour a day is doable for every single one of you. Don't give me any bullshit excuse as to why it's not. Because again, while you're getting ready in the morning, while you're driving, and all of us in real estate, we drive a lot. So a lot of you should be able to crank out 3 or 4 hours of self-development time, as much as you drive. But no, I got to listen to the radio. I got to put on some fucking Cardi B. I got to put on some Eminem. Okay. What is that doing for you? Is that poison? Or is that sugar, right? Is that strychnine or, right? Like that's what is comforting, makes you feel good in the moment. But what the fuck is it doing for you? I had people all the time like, Josh, I don't know how you can work out to audiobooks. I got to have music. I'm like, dude, it's just a skill set that's acquired. Like you got to learn how to focus. You got to learn how to, get that shit in. And now I get a great workout in and I got a great mind workout and a great physical workout. Okay. Next thing here, number 3. Got to understand that your mind and your body are 100% connected. Your body feeds your mind. You can't impact one area of your life without impacting the other area of your life. You want your business to grow, your life to grow, your mind to grow. Like you got to be in. So just like we have the right input going in mentally, I recommend that you start getting intentional with taking care of your body, right? So eating the right foods and you got daily activity going. Because again, like you can't improve one area of your life without improving the other area of your life. This is going to give you more energy, more confidence, less brain fog, more overall mental clarity to go out there and do the shit that you need to do. So it's important to make sure that you are pushing your body every single day as well. Okay, so then number 4 here, you need to find great role models, find great mentors. Quickest hack to success is finding people that already creating the success that you want to go out there and create. You identify what they've done to get from where you're at to where they want to go. And then boom, you reverse engineer their models and you go execute. Like, why would I want to go out there and reinvent the wheel? Like I told you, there's 2 things that allowed my career to go out there and skyrocket out the gate was I found the right mentor. It's the right person I can model my business after, right person to get advice from, to give me the roadmap from. Then from there, though, I had the fire to go out there and execute. Because what can happen is you can have this fire. You can go out there and want to go out there and crush it, crush it, crush it. Well, if you have a shitty plan that you're executing on day in and day out, and you're just getting defeated, kicked in the gut, kicked in the teeth every freaking day, and you're seeing no wins, yeah, you are going to burn out. So we want to remove that, right? It's like one of my brand new coaching clients is, newer to doing some of this stuff, and young dude. I mean, we're only about 3 weeks into this, and he's already got 2 listings. And I mean, the goal is to get him to 3 listings every single month consistently, very fast, which he'll be in that run rate. Give him 2 more weeks. We'll be on that run rate to get him, 3 listings a month, as a newer agent, young cat, young dude, right when it comes to that. But it's like, okay, we put the right strategy together where he's calling the right people with the right scripts at the right times with the right frequency. So then boom, 3 weeks into this already has 2 listings taken. Right. So when you have the right role models, the right mentors, the right coaches, they can go out there and map out and lay out, the quickest way to get from where you're at to where you want to go. Extremely important. Okay. Then the last thing, you got to take massive action on the right plan. And this is, so 4 and 5 kind of go together, right? Now that we're kind of circling all this stuff together, right? It's like now you got to make sure that you have the right proven plan to get from where you're at to where it is that you want to go in the quickest, most effective, efficient, profitable manner possible. So this is your strategy. You got to have the most effective strategy. And the reason why I'm saying proven here is you don't want to like there's 50 roads out there, and then you end up exhausting so much time and energy going down all the roads to only realize it's the right road, the wrong road. Okay. Like I want to find the road I need to go down. So I'm going to take that time. I'm going to make sure I have the right mentors, right role models, right coaches, whatever, so I can find the freaking right road. How do you go out there and find a mentor, role model, coach? Okay. Who's created the success personally themselves that you've created? That's my number one rule. I will not take advice from anybody that has not created the success that I want to create in that aspect of my life or that aspect of my business that hasn't created what I want to go out there and create. That's why I only stay in my lane, dude. You don't see me, here on the GSD Mode podcast talking about how to go out there and sell sell cars. I've never sold cars, right? But I have sold over 7,000 homes. Become one of the top realtors and team leaders that exist in the planet. Sell well over $2 billion of real estate, made well over $50 million gross commission income. I know how to go out there and grow a real estate business. So I stay in my lane. Yeah, right. So then from there though, like, okay, when I'm picking a mentor or a role model, it's like, okay, they have created the success that I want to create. So I know that they can get me there. Right. So none of this is theory. I want to make sure that they know if they've created themselves, it's too risky to go out there and work with somebody that hasn't personally done this themselves. That's just an observer. Because the problem with observers, like when you go to Barnes and Noble, fucking 90% of the books on the business bookshelf are just from observers. They just studied the greats that went out there and created the success, and they write a book about it. Well, those books are usually only 50% complete. Maybe they figured out what they got right and some of the things that they got right, but they definitely don't know all the shit that they got wrong. They definitely don't know, and I've just learned that, a huge element of success is not just knowing what to do. It's also knowing exactly what not to do, right? So we got to know those things, man. So then, okay, now we got this plan though. Got the plan to get from where we're at to where we want to go. And now we are like a horse with the fucking blinders on, and we are just executing day in and day out on that plan, reminding ourselves. And is it going to be painful? Yes. But this is why we did so much work onto those two lists. On step number one is now you know why you're going to go through and push through this pain each and every single day. And then from there, I'm going to add a bonus step here. But let's keep talking about this for a second. So, but I want you to be a horse with the blinders on. What I mean by that is right now, there's so much bullshit information out there. Not saying it's all bad information, but it's like you get pulled in 1,000 directions. Oh, I should be doing YouTube. Oh, I should be doing social. I should be doing this. I should be doing this. I watched this podcast. This guy's doing this. This guy's doing, next thing you know, it's like, fuck, you're overwhelmed. And then we get in action. We're not saying like, dude, that doesn't mean it's right for you. Really, this stuff's very nuanced. People ask me all the time, what's the best strategy? I'm like, well, dude, it depends. What are your goals? Where is your business at? What are your 12-month goals? What are your long-term goals? What's your time allocation that you have your business? How quickly do you need to grow and scale your business? Like, I had a dude the other day, I was talking to him, like, dude, so you got like you got like years worth of money in the bank. This was a question, not him telling me. So you got years worth of money in the bank where you can go out there and focus on, because the strategies that he was telling me wanted to start doing were going to be these really long-term strategies. So I'm like, okay, those could make sense. As long as you got several years worth of money in the bank and you're okay with burning through that cash, because those are going to take at least 12 to 18 months to start paying off. Are you okay with that? No, man. Well, how much money you got in the bank? How many months can you go without a paycheck before you're in trouble? For maybe 5 months max. Okay. I wouldn't do those strategies then. Not saying to not do those at some point, but let's get you focused on, because if you got two targets, you got one arrow, you got to pick which target you're going to aim at. So I'm like, let's get you focused on these activities for now money right now, so we can get you those paychecks that you need within 3 to 4 months, get you popping, 2, 3, whatever goals are consistently every single month. And then once you got that down, you're doing that in your sleep, it's predictable, you're repeating it every single month. Now, if it makes sense to do so and you have the time available, now let's start then adding in some of those longer term strategies. Yeah, right. So it's very nuanced, man. There is no best. It's like we got to put all the pieces together based on your situation, based on your schedule, based on what your goals are, based on what you're looking at creating. It's different for everybody, so quit going out there and watching these YouTube channels that, oh, you got to do YouTube. Oh, you got to do TikTok. You got to do, like, look, maybe. What's your scenario? What's your situation? Let's like, this is where it's very nuanced, right? But then you got to take massive action on your plan to get from where you're at to where you want to go, and then put the blinders on And you are just so, because if you don't put the blinders on, like a horse with the blinders on, you're going to get distracted and it's going to pull you away from taking the massive action that you need to go out there and take massive action on. And here's the cool thing. Those of you seeking motivation is bullshit. It doesn't last. You have more days probably where you're not motivated, than you are motivated. You got to do the work regardless. But here's what I found. As soon as you step into the work, you start taking action, you start taking, doing the work, motivation starts to come. Right? Like I'm almost never motivated. It's like when I get up at 2 a.m. every single morning, I never want to wake up. But then I get my body moving. I start, feed my mind some right stuff. Okay, now I'm kind of getting a little better mood, whatever. Then I go work out at 3 a.m. It's like, I don't want to go work out at 3 a.m. I'm like, shit, I don't, just don't want to, right? But after, like my third warm-up set, okay, now, man, I got a little blood in there. Now I'm feeling a little better, man. I'm feeling kind of good. And then after my first exercise, I get my second exercise. Now I'm starting to feel really good. By the end of that workout, I'm like, fuck, I feel amazing. I'm so glad I did it. Right? So the quickest way to create motivation is get into action. And then, more action creates more motivation. But this is just, I know that this isn't, the magic pill that people are looking for going through these, 5 different steps. Well, the 6th step is more motivation breeds more motivation, but I know that this isn't the sexy stuff. This isn't the easy button that maybe you were looking for, but let me tell you a secret. If it was to be a secret, there is no easy button. Doesn't exist. Quit looking for it. There is no magic pill. There is no easy button, right? There's a smarter way to do shit, but there is no easy button. There is no magic pill. So stop chasing shit that doesn't exist, right? And get into action, start taking action, get yourself to taking those daily actions that you need to take. And look, if you do not have the best plan to get you from where you're at to where you want to go, or you need any help in your real estate business, again, I invite you to schedule a 100% free Zoom coaching call with me personally. It's going to be a 1-hour long Zoom coaching call. What we're going to break down on this call, if this is something you want to take advantage of, and again, it's 100% free. And I promise you, this isn't some bait and switch bullshit, shallow thing. I had a lady just yesterday that I was on a conversation with. And this is, I don't know, halfway through the coaching call. And she's like, holy shit. She's like, I've gotten more from you in this free coaching call than I have from my last 5 coaches that I paid insane amounts of money for over the last, I was like years of, 5 years of coaches. So I got more from you in this 30 minutes. Now, I don't know if I could promise that, like if that's going to be everybody's experience. I don't know. I don't know what your experience is. But what I do know is I'm not here to waste your fucking time. What I do know is I've got the knowledge. I know the strategies. I can get you from where you're at to where you want to go. I can create the plan. I can give you the plan. I can make sure you know exactly what to do to get from where you're at to where it is that you want to go. You got to execute. Nobody on this planet can execute for you. You have people want to, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to charge you a shit ton of money. You have checking calls every single week so I can hold you accountable. It's all bullshit. Nobody can hold you accountable, right? Like nobody's going to make sure that you get your ass out of bed. Nobody's going to be there over your shoulder yelling at you. Like you don't have a fucking drill sergeant. So we got to quit thinking that shit's out, because it's not. It's all just bullshit, right? Like it comes down to self-accountability, self-discipline, doing these things that we talked about here today, getting yourself into action. Yeah, right. And I'll create another podcast here in the near future about how to go out there and become a self-disciplined machine. I'm sure I've created other podcasts on that. You can go probably search the channel, check the channel, because I'm sure I've got many of those. I mean, I'm put out thousands at this point. It's hard to remember what all I've covered at this point, but the key is the key is self-accountability, self-discipline, right? And there's easy ways. I could solve that problem in 5 minutes. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. So if your business is stuck, maybe business is declining, maybe it's stagnant, maybe it's growing, just not growing the path that you want it to grow to. And you just do not know exactly what you must do to get from where you're at to where you want to go. That's who these coaching calls are for. We're going to spend an hour long on this coaching call, Zoom call. It's going to be you and me personally on this call. It's massive value. I promise you, I will get you dialed in this call. We're going to talk about where your business is at, what your 12-month goals are, what your long-term goals are, what you're doing, what your biggest obstacles are prohibiting you from creating success. Then from there, I'm going to map out the strategy for you. Here's exactly what I would do if I were you, to exactly from where you're at to where you want to go in the quickest, most effective, efficient possible manner. So that way, you know exactly what you need to start executing on and taking action on. And you will leave this call you will not leave this call, I should say, without having full clarity on what you must do to get from where you're at to where you want to go. Now, full disclosure, we're going to spend about 50 minutes going through all that, which is plenty of time. I promise you that. Doesn't matter whether you're an agent, team leader, broker owner, that's plenty of time for me to get you dialed in there. Last 10 minutes, I'm going to walk you through what my coaching program is, what it entails. If it's fit for you, cool. If not, that's okay too. Look, we can still be friends. I have a very strict no pressure policy. I'm not going to beg you. It's not my style, right? If it's for you, cool. If not, that's okay too. You have my word. I will get you dialed in, whether you ever do advanced coaching with me, or if this coaching call is the only coaching session you ever do with me, you have my word. I will get you dialed in. I will not let you down. So if you want to schedule that, go to GSD or www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. All right, guys, get into action. Keep crushing. Keep kicking ass. I'll see you next time. Peace.